Yes, y'all. So we back. It's another episode of the Klyph Notes podcast, available everywhere you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and then of course at klyphnotes.com. Ladies and gentlemen, this here episode is one that I have been looking forward to literally for years, man. This gentleman is such a treasure to the scene of Portland and beyond the region, but also very special to me because so much of what I have been able to do in terms of putting stuff out there visually so people can see all of the projects that I'm working on wouldn't be where they are if it hadn't been for this gentleman. A dude who's constantly working, yet is always behind the scenes. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Casso Dinero. What up?
Yo, what up?
How you feeling, bro?
Man, I can't complain. Thank you for having me on here. It's an honor to be a part of this and all that stuff. So I'm man, thankful.
That's what's up, bro. That's what's up. So it's interesting because as I was thinking about it, looking back to the connect. So I started doing Welcome to the Neighborhood on KZME Radio 15, 16 years ago. And shout out to my guy Will Coca, was the first person who created a logo for me.
Right.
And started building out the show, trying to really trying to figure out FM radio. And I was like, man, I want to get another logo. I want to get something, because the one that Will did was dope. It had like the Portland skyline and it said Welcome to the Neighborhood. But I wanted something that was a little bit like small, like a little icon or whatever.
Right, yeah.
So I'm talking to people and I'm like, yo, I'm trying to figure out how to do a logo. Anybody got any ideas? And people were like, yo, you gotta hit up Alex. So I was like, okay. So I reached out and you hit me with the second Welcome to the Neighborhood logo, and then you sent me like a bunch of different variations, and then you had like a dang, I wish I had my laptop here. You had a like an alternative folder or something like that.
Yeah, just different options.
Yeah, which was the glasses man with the chains, like,
with the chain.
That's so fire, yo. So from the beginning, bro, like you've early on, you've been a part of what I've done. So thank you so much for that, bro.
Man, not a problem, man. Thank you for bringing me along the journey and all that stuff. It's dope to see how far everything has came. As far as like the neighborhood, Welcome to the Neighborhood, just all the other endeavors that you had and called me up and had me be a part of. It's just dope to be a part of the creative process.
Word up.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about that, bro. Like in terms of the creative process, where does that start for you? Have you always been someone who's been artistic, or like how's that all start for you? Man,
I've been into the arts my whole life, basically. Just ever since I was a little kid, and I was able to pick up a marker mm-hmm. and construction paper and just draw scribbles and all that stuff. It's been on ever since, mm-hmm. Just from that, playing around with different mediums, charcoal, crayons, paint, clay, mm-hmm. But for the most part, I was always just a pencil and paper type of person,
mm-hmm.
Just drawing everything I would see, opening up comic books and just, tracing the stuff that I was seeing there. And then it would go from that to, trying my hand at, drawing portraits,
mm-hmm.
And that's when I was like really, getting into music, just, finding my sound,
mm-hmm.
just what I like to hear and all that stuff. So I was buying the Source magazine every month,
mm-hmm.
and I would draw whatever artist was on the cover and all that stuff. And then, of course, buying albums and, looking at the album covers and all that stuff. Just, that was me in a nutshell, just always in my drawing book, just, drawing until I got tired.
Yeah. So did you, in doing that, did you feel like that was something that was just a part of who you are as a person? Was that something that you were interested in pursuing, like by seeing other art, by seeing, you know, what was happening in magazines or on albums that you pick up? Did you have a desire to, like, I want to figure that out, like I want to do that?
You know, at first when I was just drawing and stuff, it was just, you know, all the stuff around me. You know, my mom would doodle on, you know, phone books and stuff like that. You know, he would do her little sketches and stuff, and then my pops, he would draw a lot too. You know, whether it was just drawing, you know, ideas for like furniture or something like that, or just drawing like Garfield. Like he loved to draw Garfield. So, you know, it was my mom and dad who, like, you know, inspired me to get into art and stay in it and all that stuff. And, you know, they were, you know, my first two supporters. You know,
Gotcha.
They were the ones that really encouraged me by just buying like all the easels and all that stuff just to keep me going with it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, my grandmother, you know, from New York, my mom's from New York, and my grandmother out in New York, she would send over, you know, pastels and paints and stuff like that, because she knew I was drawing as well. So they, you know, my whole family was very instrumental in just keeping me creative.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. How dope is that to have that support system for something that you're passionate about?
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
You know.
The when I look at where you are now and stuff that I've seen you do here, and then as I was mentioning, even stuff from outside the region, do you remember when other people saw your art and how just impactful it was, and wanted you to be a part of what they were working on?
As far as like graphic design or just like art in general?
Well, maybe both.
I mean, like that started in middle school. You know, really just me again in my notebook, because I suffer from anxiety. So I'm a shy kid. I'm an only child. So like I, you know, had friends around the neighborhood and all that stuff, but for the most part, you know, I was, you know, by myself.
Yeah.
So like I would draw and, you know, listen to music and all that stuff. So when it came to like going to school, again, I'm in my drawing book, just drawing, and people would walk up to see what I was doing, and they're like, "Oh, snaps, that's dope.
Yeah.
That's such and such.
Yeah.
Man, draw me something. Draw me something." So, you know, that started it. You know, just, you know, making friends off of that. You know, just people being curious to see what I was doing, and then that turned into just me, you know, drawing stuff for other people. You know, come high school, people are starting to get tattoos and all that stuff. It's like, yo, I want you to draw my first tattoo and all that stuff.
Oh, snap.
So it was like, it was an honor just to like help out with those designs and all that stuff. And it was just, you know, it was dope just because I didn't have to sacrifice who I was.
Yeah.
I didn't have to be somebody that I wasn't. I was just being myself, and you know, people gravitated towards that. You know,
That's so fire, bro.
yeah.
So I just think about this now. When talking about people getting their first tats, like when do you remember the first time you saw your artwork tatted on somebody, and was that weird, or it was like, oh, well, that's what they want to do?
Man, actually, I just did like this MW, and like dude had it on his arm, I want to say, and like he showed it to me. It was like, oh snaps, that I did that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So it was like, man, just seeing that, it was like, okay, I'm gonna keep going.
Right.
I'm gonna keep going. See where this goes.
Yeah.
You know.
How did you? So I know that there's, and I want you to fill in the blanks for me. But how did you transition from, or how did you get into graphic design?
Graphic design was just, you know, something that I was interested in through just buying music.
Okay.
You know, buying albums. You know, flipping through the liner notes. You know, seeing like the seeing the liner notes, who did what, who produced what, and then towards the end, you would like, well, throughout the booklet, they would have all these, you know, images and graphics and stuff. It was like dope, you know, even with an album that was themed and stuff, you could see the theme, and then while you're listening to the album, you could like put two and two together of like what this whole vibe of this album was, you know. I would, you know, read through the liner notes, and towards the end they would have all the like legal stuff, like, you know, executive producers, and then towards the bottom they would have like the photographers, you know, the graphic designers. And at that time I didn't know what graphic design was, because there were so many different names for it. Artwork by, illustration by, design by. So I didn't know what it was, but what, like, whatever it was, I wanted to try my hand at it, you know. And it was albums like The Eminem Show, you know, that was a play off of The Truman Show. And, you know, that was, you know, designed by the Morning Breath crew, I want to say. And it was so dope how they had the whole album booklet laid out, you know. They had it as if we were like peeking into like these security cameras of M, you know, in his kitchen or in the studio and all that stuff. And throughout the whole booklet, they created a font out of his like actual handwriting that was like crazy to me. You know, it was that, you know, albums like Kanye's Late Registration, you know, just the whole, like any album from Kanye, like those first three albums really inspired me to get into design. You know, just seeing like the colors, the layouts and all that stuff, going from like a yearbook design all the way to collegiate design. And then, you know, with graduation, it's this whole anime thing. So now I'm like getting introduced to people like Murakami and all that stuff. So it was just like dope. Like my mind is blown, you know? So it was like just listening to those albums. And then when it came time to, you know, graduate high school, I was still trying to figure out as to what I was going to do. I wanted to do something in art, thinking that it was going to be an easy route. All I was going to be doing was drawing. No. And, you know, it was my uncle who caught wind of what I was trying to do. And he was like, nah, you're not really going to make any money off of that. Like, here's a mini Mac. You got Photoshop, InDesign, Illustrator. Learn all those programs, get into graphic design. So that was, you know, 2007, 2006, 2007. So like I started graphic design like right before I went to college.
Wow.
So I'm learning everything on the fly. Like the only school like I had enrolled into was the Art Institute of Portland, and from that point on, I was in it. I was in it. It was all gas, no brakes. So it was like I had to like learn on the fly and all that stuff. But it was something that I was interested in, you know, just throughout the music, throughout the album covers and all that stuff. I knew it was something that I wanted to do. I just didn't know what it was. And all that stuff. So like right as I'm learning graphic design, I'm learning computers and all that stuff, because I didn't really have a computer and all that stuff. Like I knew how to burn albums and all that stuff, but I'm learning all this stuff, and it was just really a mind-blowing experience, you know, that I'm thankful of, you know, getting thrust into that, you know,
That's what's up, bro. It's so interesting to hear you tell that story though, because I remember, you know, cracking open you know, reading the back of an album, cracking open a CD or a cassette, and reading through those things, and looking at the writer, looking at the producer, seeing the artist, illustrator, but it didn't resonate with me, as not a visual artist. So it's so cool to hear that other people have that same experience, and the thing that you connect with is the thing that stands out to you.
Right. And I started associating like different styles with different artists. The more I would, buy albums and stuff. Like I knew every G Unit, release like early on was done by Slang Inc.
Okay.
You could tell like that graphic look. It was, sharp. It had like the nighttime, daytime feel to it. You could tell like the environment and all that stuff, like just like that color scheme, it was very, very rich.
Yeah.
Like all of those came from one person and all that stuff. So I was starting to pinpoint who did what, and I was following them.
Yeah.
Like a lot of, type design, a lot of, cartoon styles, like from Mr. Cartoon. Like I started associating a lot of his work with, all that, just seeing all the stuff he did. So I started studying these people and seeing how they did their stuff, and like just all these other like ways to do it and all that stuff. And I would apply it to what I would do, just experiment with it.
Do you feel like,
I hope I'm not long-winded, my bad.
No, not at all. Do you feel like you have a style? Like, so I can, when I associate it with the audible art, I can listen to a production and go, oh, I could tell so and so produced that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Sometimes even with writing, the way that somebody's flow is when they're rhyming. But do you feel like you have a style? Is that something that you think about? Is that something that is evolving?
Not really. Not really. Like I've thought about it, but I can never really pinpoint like a real true style. I just try to do things that make sense, like to that particular project. So like I guess you could say I'm a chameleon. Like I'll just tap into like the environment that somebody's in, and I'll bring, whatever way I do it into their world, and try to, do it the way they would do it.
Do you think that there was a piece that you did, whether it was album design, a flyer, a logo, something that you did that you noticed, wow, when I like that resonated with people and sort of put you on the radar?
Man, there's a lot. There's a lot. I would say, the produce logo.
I hear people talk about that logo all the time.
Yeah, the produce logo. Just, walking around the city and seeing people, rocking shirts with that logo on it, and seeing hats with that logo on it, and like they don't know who did it. They're walking past the person who created that. Right. I'm like, it's crazy. Yeah. It's those type of, moments that are super cool. Seeing the Trap Kitchen logo, like right, like at the Roseland. Right. Like seeing that inside, like such an historic.
Wait, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You did the Trap Kitchen logo?
Kind of like I did, like I cleaned it up. There were like earlier versions of it, but like I did, the updated, version of it.
I mean, I'm not surprised, but like, dang, B.
Yeah. And then, that's another one. Just seeing how, like, seeing where that's gone and all that stuff. I'm thankful to be a part of that team. Of course, the Numberz. Yeah. The Numberz.
That logo's fire.
Man, like it was dope because I've done radio show logos, but a logo for an actual station. Right. that's something different.
Yeah.
And to see, you know, all the things up under that umbrella that happened, it was an honor just to be a part of the creative process for it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
No, it's a lot. It's a lot.
When you work with artists outside the region, is that something, how does that happen? Like, how do you, or I guess how did that happen? Because now I know it happens all the time.
You know the crazy thing about it? I started working outside of Portland before I got into like doing designs in Portland.
Okay.
I was just on Twitter. I was on different forums, just showcasing my art. You know, a lot of critiques, a lot of, you know, a lot of times where my stuff got trashed on, and rightfully so. But it made me, you know, stronger in that creative field, because I would be like, okay, you didn't like that, I'm gonna go back in.
Yeah.
Whoop-de-whoop. Boom, what y'all think? And I get a better response each time. So it just really built my character and all that stuff, as far as just, you know, not tripping about the critiques, not tripping about that, not tripping about like people not liking something, because what one person might not like, none other people will.
Right.
So it started online, and I was just trying to figure out how to like really get out there more, just, you know, introduce myself more. And then one of the not financial, but one of the job recruiters, like the people who would help you with employment after college, he's like, yo, you should start, you know, networking with local people, like with in your backyard, you know, see how that goes. And, you know, from that point on, you know, it worked. You know, you know, I started working with Terminal. You know, that was like the first. No, better yet, no, I take that back. El Pro. Yeah, El Pro. That was the first person I started working with.
Okay.
Through my guy Fats. You interviewed him like years ago. You know, working with him on his project, and then, you know, Dane. You know, I met him on like the day I graduated.
Okay.
He started promoting. He was promoting all my stuff to everybody who came to the booth and all that stuff. He even promoted my stuff to my dad. He didn't know who my dad was, but we always laugh about that. But yeah, it was just, you know, going that route. It really made a difference. It worked. You know, it worked. You know, of course, you know, I had success, you know, outside the region and all that stuff, doing the online stuff. But really connecting with people in your own backyard, it really made more of a difference. You know, connecting and really shaking hands with everybody and meeting up with everybody and forming that bond with people, you know. So it made a world of difference.
Yeah, as we talk about it, and I think about a lot of our conversations and a lot of our connections are built around graphic design. You know, I tell people all the time, like 98% of the logos that I have, whether it's logos or art or whatever, you've done for me. So once again, thank you very much. But so that's what I always think about. But in terms of art, is there art that you do for art's sake?
I'm starting to get back into it. You know, I'm starting to just play around with different ideas, just play around with different styles and stuff. So it's definitely something that I'm doing more of now. You know, just to build up the mental, you know, aspect of it. It is like a mental block crusher, I guess you could say. Like, just Creative block, my bad. Creative block crusher, you know, just going in and making a 8-minute logo,
Right.
you know,
Right.
just for something,
Yeah.
or seeing a font or creating like typefaces and stuff, which is something that I've been doing more of now. So
Okay.
those are things that help me, you know, not only build my strength as a designer, but just, you know, clear my mind of just clutterness and stuff. So when I get back into actual projects, I won't be as, you know, scatterbrained as I once was.
You were part of isn't there like an art collective that you were doing stuff with? I'm trying to remember. I should have done my homework. But I asked that really to ask about, you know, being a creative and doing that independently versus being a creative and being a part of. I mean, I guess you've already described it. You're a part of what I do.
Right.
In terms of Klyphworks, thank you so much for that dope logo. You are a part of Klyphworks, right? You are part of Welcome to the Neighborhood. You are part of all these things, but in the form of being sort of a visual creative part of it. But in terms of you creating, being around other creators, other graphic designers, other visual artists, is that something that you have done? Is that something that is helpful, or is that?
Yeah. I mean, shout out to Fats again. You know, we had like he had his crew, the Cons Collective.
Okay, I think that's something.
Yeah,
I think that's something about.
Yeah. That was something that he brought me on to when he was starting to do the digital aspect, the graphic design aspect. It started off as like a graffiti team, like a graffiti crew, back in California, I want to say. You know, like me and him, we're still cool and stuff. It's been a minute since like we last spoke. But you know, we just went on to like do our own things and stuff. Right now I'm a part of a new thing called The Format.
Okay.
You know, it's like a design firm that me and two other people have, you know, started. You know, we started back in 2019, and now we're starting to really bring ourselves out there. You know, starting to work with people. So it's you know, it's been a learning experience as far as just like the business aspect of it, just, you know, networking and really just learning how to keep a design firm, you know, afloat. You know. So we're still like, we've had clients and all that, but now we're really starting to look into really going in with it and stuff.
I have an image that was reinforced at the after party where RZA was spinning. I don't remember what the show was. I remember who was performing, but it was at Kelly's Olympian. And I remember seeing you when dapped you up, chopped it up with you a little bit. You were sitting in the very back of Kelly's at a table with your laptop working. One, I think it's so dope that you're putting in the work that you're putting in. Does being in an environment like that help with the creative process for you?
It can. Definitely. Again, it goes back to just helping my anxiety. You know, just like I usually play the background. Like if I'm not on my laptop, I'm in and out of the venue, just trying to catch some air.
Gotcha.
So because it can get crazy. But for the most part, it does help. You know, it does help, and a lot of the times, a bunch of people who I work with are there. So you know, sometimes that might be the time to just finish up everything
Right.
and get it done
Right,
and stuff,
right.
or sometimes I'll start a new project right then and there, and get it done right then and there, and get paid right then and there.
Yeah. Which gotta feel good.
Yeah, it's always a great feeling and stuff. But it's it for the most part it helps. It helps. Again, it goes back to me in middle school, just in my drawing book.
Yeah.
But now it's in the laptop.
Yeah. It's so fire, bro.
Yeah.
It's funny. There's there's so much I want to say that I'm not going to say, that I really can't say, but I will say, because I want to be able to reference right that at the RZA show you were working on a project that I am so excited for. And yep. Okay, so Alex,
cut this out.
Right, cut it out.
Cut the audio.
So one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about was PDX Hip Hop Week.
Yes.
So this is I don't know when I'm going to release this. I don't know if it's going to release before or after the week is completed, but this is the 10th anniversary of PDX Hip Hop Week.
Crazy.
And looking at the visual representation of a lot of the events, but of the week itself, looking at the logo that was created for PDX Hip Hop Week, and then looking at how that logo can also be seen in LA as LA works on LA Hip Hop Day, and the potential of other cities coming on board. You've done obviously things that are big, album covers and business ventures with artists that we all celebrate in and outside of the region.
Yeah, absolutely.
And maybe I'm a little biased because it hits, it's very close to the heart with PDX Hip Hop Week. But I mean, do you look at things like that you've created that have this life that continues to live and continues to grow, and feel anything with that, or is it just like, yep, did that, move on to the next?
I don't get the time to, because I'm so busy working on other things and stuff. Like, I'm so in my bubbles, I don't really take time to just be like, oh wow,
yeah,
I did that. It takes like things like this, or running into people and they telling me like, yo, what you did, da da da, and all that stuff, or like they're introducing me to their people and they're running down the resume that I've done, and it's like, whoa, like it is I'm just honored to be a part of it. It was like, if I can help make a change in somebody's life, somebody's career and stuff, it's I feel honored. Like I do. Like I was like, back then, just going back to high school, I was just trying to find like my purpose, like what like how am I gonna leave a mark, or and all that stuff, like, and just now years later, just seeing like all the things that I'm a part of, like I'm proud.
Yes.
And I just hope that I'm like when it's all said and done, people will still remember me. I won't be forgotten or anything like that, or they look back and be like he did some good work, he did some dope work.
Oh, for sure.
I'm if I could inspire some people to do what I do, or if somebody could see something that I did and be like, I want to do something like that, or if they feel like they can do something better, and it drives them to do something better, it's like, that's dope. That's what we're here for, to inspire other people to do dope stuff.
Yeah, that's what's up, bro. Was it last year? I guess it was last year. We did the
No Request event.
The No Request event, the day party.
Yep.
And you pulled up, and it was so dope. And man, shout out to OG1 for, as he's grown from PDX Hip Hop Day to PDX Hip Hop Week.
Yep.
And with the Star Awards, doing things to recognize people and the idea of giving people their flowers while they're here to appreciate them. But then also requiring any of us who wants to do an event that is sanctioned by PDX Hip Hop Week, that we recognize someone in the community that has made a contribution. And it was so dope for Ambush and I think I can speak for Ambush to say, to have the opportunity to show our appreciation to you for the work that you've done for the both of us, but again for the Portland scene and the music scene overall, man. That felt really good for us to publicly say thank you, because again, just like you described, like you're doing your thing, but I think that I think people deserve to know who you are and what you do and the gifts that you have and the impact that you've had on so many of us. So it felt really, really cool to be able to do that at the event, man.
Thank you. And I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Thank DJ OG1, Ambush, of course, Star Child, man.
Yeah,
miss that guy, man. Miss him.
Yeah.
Man, just thank y'all for just being like the big brothers that I never had.
That's what's up.
Y'all get on my head when I might be slipping. Y'all lift me up when I'm, doing good and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's just dope to be a part of this, whole thing. Something that's, honored many, many people and continues to.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm excited to see where it goes the next 10 years,
no
next
doubt.
20 years,
no doubt. So I said this to you then, and I was a little disappointed, bro, because we had an opportunity to gift you with the thing. And I had one more thing that I was supposed to gift you with.
Oh no.
And it didn't arrive. Like, I feel like the event was on Sunday. I feel like it came on Monday.
Yeah.
So have been looking for an opportunity to do this. It's one more piece, bro. One more piece that we wanted to give you, and we finally have an opportunity to give that to you, man. Just, I wanted you to have just one more thing to put on the mantle. I think as a part of the culture in which we live in, and the impact of the culture of Drink Champs on the culture, we just wanted to give you a personalized piece. So once again, man, thank you. Thank you for who you are and what you do, bro. For real. Yeah, man. For real.
Oh man, this is dope. What?
Yeah, man. So we'll take a picture of that and we'll put it up so that folk get an opportunity to see it.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate it. This is dope.
Yeah.
This is dope.
Yeah, man. Had to get you your flowers, bro.
Oh man, appreciate it. Thank you.
So I'm curious. I know how I am unapologetically a fan of the people who I'm a fan of. So opportunities that I've had to maybe interview someone, host a show that someone is performing at, whatever the case may be, like I'll just fanboy out.
Right.
When I look at some of the artists that you've had an opportunity to work with, have you had that experience, or are you not like, nah, I'm just, I'm cool on. As an example, had an opportunity to interview just right down the hall. Had an opportunity to interview Lil Brother when they were in town. Like, bruh.
I know.
That's Lil Brother, you feel me?
Yeah.
The interview that I did recently with Brother Ali, like, I've had, people who I am truly a fan of and who I appreciate what they do as creatives. I tell them I'm a fan, yo.
Yeah. I have a chance to like with those, with Little Brother, with Skyzoo.
Yep.
I'll give them their flowers and all that. So like, I'm a fan, I'm a fan and all that stuff. And then, I don't like go like too crazy or anything like that, because I'm sure they've heard it many a times and all that. So, but like, I'm never too cool to let somebody know that I'm a fan of their work and all that stuff. Sometimes that's how I, like, introduce myself. I'm like, yo, I'm a fan.
Yep.
I rock with what you do. So it's never never a time where I've never not said it.
Yeah. Is there anyone that you've had an opportunity to work with that has surprised you in the sense of, wow, I didn't know that who'd have thought I'd have a chance to work with this individual, this artist, and maybe it's not even an artist.
Man, there's so many people, man. It goes back to, jamming 95.5 and, listening to hood radio, like a lot of the people that I listened to, through that, ended up being people that I ended up working with, later on, working with Cool Nuts, working with Star Child, working with DJ OG1. These are names that I've heard for years and all that stuff,
Right.
Working with Mikey Vegas and the whole Trap Kitchen team, Capes, Slaps, who else? I'm drawing a blank, man. Help me out.
But that's the thing, man. I mean, I think that's so cool when you, as we continue to move through this life journey, and people that become colleagues and associates.
Absolutely.
And how art, whether it's the visual or the audible, can bring this together, and communities can be created out of this. I just think that's so dope.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right, bro. I don't be like, this ain't the controversial type podcast, but I got some questions.
Oh, go ahead.
So what would you say is, because we've talked about kind of the joys, for me, the joys of watching what you do. What's the most challenging part of what you do in terms of being a creative, being a graphic designer, being someone who is, really, like you mentioned, helping other people live out their dreams?
I think it's just pinpointing the actual design, just really getting something down, because sometimes people don't really know what they want. So you kind of gotta play like a therapist sometimes to really like drive figure out questions and all that stuff. I think that part is, and then just trying to figure out your worth. It's not all about the money, but you just gotta, be careful about spreading yourself thin. Just because that can lead to, situations where, like, he does dope work, but he takes long getting back. I'll be the first one to tell you. And it is something that I'm working on. Something I've been working on, getting better at. It's just, figuring out your worth, figuring out what you want to do and all that. I'm still figuring that out. But it's, I'm in a better spot than I was, 10 years ago. But I know I need to be much better, at it. In a much better spot. If that makes sense, and that's something that I'm just, learning, studying and all that stuff, and I'm getting better at speaking up about, like, what I want out of this, So I don't really think it's like any controversies and all that stuff. I mean, sure, we deal with our share of, unlikable people, but that's something that I don't focus on, because I've been, thankful to be around, like, a lot of good people. A lot of good people, a lot of great people, a lot of dope people. So, to give energy to the people who don't matter is something that I don't do.
That's what's
up.
I
try not to do.
That's what's up, bro. Okay, so that's about as controversial as I get. But that was my way of saying, come on, folk, pay this man his money. Don't have him out here, you know what I mean?
Right.
Take care of this dude, bro. This dude is he's a treasure. He's a treasure to our scene.
And it's getting there. There's people who are really looking out. So
that's what's up.
So it's you know, we have a few people that we got to work on that with, but for the most part, I work with a lot of good people.
Yeah.
You know, that you know, we're you know, on both sides of the coin, we're all just trying to get to it.
Yeah, just trying to get better.
Yeah, trying to get better.
Always trying to get better. Every day trying to get better.
But I appreciate that, though.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Looking out for you, bro. I want to talk to you a little bit about the creative process. So yes. I love what you just talked about in terms of helping people, like knowing what questions to ask as people are coming to you with requests for design work. One of the things that I actually had to learn because I didn't know, and you helped sort of guide me through this, was I might come up with an idea. Like I have literally hit you and said, say, bro, I have an idea for a logo, or I have an idea for a project and I need a logo. Right. And you'd hit me back with, okay, yeah, let me know what you want. And I can remember going from one end of the spectrum to the other. I can remember going online and like finding, you know, 8-10 different sort of styles of logos, this, that, and the third, and sending you like little JPEGs of them. Right. And I can remember also kind of talking to you about, hey, this is what I'm looking for, or this is what I really like when I see designs. Is there one type of feedback that works better for you, and not you, but like as a creative, and is there can you get too much feedback? Or does it depend on the project and the time?
It all depends on the project. You know, there's a lot of moving parts. Of course, you know, with a large project, it's a lot of moving parts. Yeah. So there's edits and, you know, certain pieces and stuff. So all together, it can seem like a lot, but when you really just focus on one piece of each puzzle, you can really get it down, like get it done, you know, reasonably in a reasonable time frame and all that. There have been times where I've done work while like I'm doing these edits, and then they hit me with some more edits, and it's like, oh, I gotta go back. I gotta go back. That's happened plenty of times, and I think it's just them being excited and like really seeing the vision, like their vision really coming to fruition and stuff. So sometimes there might be things that need to be changed and stuff. So I don't have a problem with it. Just, you know, we just gotta, you know, pinpoint it to like the correct, the one, like making the vision come true, like just on one vision, like making sure like everything makes sense. Right. You know,
when you work with someone, is it easier when you've worked with someone a lot, kind of getting a sense of what they like, or does that make a difference? And the reason I ask that is because now I can say, bro, I'm thinking about this, and within a couple days you'll get back to me with like, yo, how did you like from the, you know what I mean? So is that because you've done so much stuff with me, or does that matter?
It does, because like you can see what a person likes. You know, you know what they're looking for. You know the stuff that they don't want. You know, I know you're straight to the point. You know, you want something that's bold, something that represents hip hop, but not in a cliche way. So it's just things that like I keep track of for, you know, each person. You know, I know, you know, it's crazy, like working with Capes, like he'll ask me a question like, what comes to mind when you hear this phrase, such and such, or that's how we came up with Concrete Dreams. Like what comes to mind when you hear the phrase Concrete Dreams? And we just had like a conversation, a back and forth conversation of just what I think and what he came up with, and then, you know, we met in the middle of like an idea and stuff. So that's one way. Or, you know, I've had clients who've had different ideas, different styles for each project. So
Yeah.
it's always something new
Mhm.
and stuff. So it's different
Yeah.
for like different people.
Mhm.
Like one person might want like the style that they always do.
Mhm.
Another person might want something totally different for each project.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's customizing the workflow for each
Yeah.
person.
I thought just came to me. You did like a layout for a festival, like map type situation,
Rolling
did
Loud.
you? Bruh. So with projects like that are on that scale, are those enjoyably challenging? Are they stressful? Are they a break a break that you like from the the music stuff that you do in terms of like projects and logos and that kind of thing, or is it just different?
It's a challenge. I mean, it's a great challenge. It's a good challenge. It's something to improve in certain areas. You want something that's going to challenge you creatively. That was the first time I ever did that.
Yeah.
And I took note of the things I did right, the things I did wrong. So if it came a time where I was able to do it again,
Yeah.
I know what to do the next time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just growth.
Yeah.
Growth. It's challenges,
Yeah.
but fun ones.
Yeah. What would you? I don't know that I've asked this question before. What would you like to see for yourself? Into 2012, into next year, if the world lasts this long, the next 5 years, the next 10 years. Like, what would you like to see for yourself?
Just in a better space creatively. Just in a better space overall. Just being a better person than I was yesterday. And hopefully, taking this as far as I can take it. As a solo creator, and then doing stuff with the format, seeing how that goes. I just want to see growth, and development. Just as not only a creative, but just as a human overall.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the motive. That's the motivation. That's what I'm trying to do.
That's what's up.
That
man.
I'm not trying to do. I'm working on each day. One day at a time.
I love that. I love that, man. And that's really that's what I work to encourage through Fitness as a Habit, where it's not just about physical fitness, it's about the whole, the physical, the mental, the spiritual, and working towards being better in each of those areas and everything that we do. Do you have a particular project that you can speak on, that you're working on right now, that you're excited to see come to fruition?
Ooh, the one that we can't speak on.
Okay, that's what's up. That's enough said. Enough said. Okay.
The one that we can't speak on. But
Yeah.
I mean, there's two that I can't speak on. One is connected with Hip Hop Week.
A word.
Yes, there's one that's connected with Hip Hop Week, which I'm sure will get announced during Hip Hop Week.
Dope.
Specifically the Star Wars, I want to say, but I can't really go into detail with it. But I just finished up everything and sent off the files to. But I mean, all the projects that I get into, I'm excited for.
Yeah.
So like people still want to work with me.
Yep.
Still want to work with me.
Yeah.
Like anytime I get a chance to get in my creative bag, I'm excited.
Are you in a place now where you are? You talk about really building out this design firm that you're hoping to work with, or are you working with individuals or groups outside of the music industry?
We have a few things in the works. We've done work in like dispensaries. Rose Leone, I'm sure you've heard of him. He's been doing a lot of work. He just finished up some behind the scenes stuff for a film document. I don't want to. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I don't want to, say something and mess it up. But
right.
he's been working, keeping the format going. We've worked with restaurants as well. So we're just getting to the point that we're just trying to rev it up and really get to a point where we can start really promoting it as, this is what we do. We're still in the process of just ironing out all the wrinkles and all that stuff. But, soon enough we'll start, really putting ourselves out there as a format.
And I ask because
I got it as like a part of my bio.
There we go. That's what I was gonna say. If people are hearing about this, like, I wonder if the format would work with my business, but my business is not necessarily a part of music.
Right. No, we work in film, photography, branding, what else? I mean, of course, music. We're doing we're venturing. We're venturing out to many spaces and stuff. So, we're just trying to get all the pieces put together. So, like when we put everything out there, we can really be the professional design firm that we see a lot of these different places be like.
I dig it, man. Are there things about the industry that you look forward to doing? Let me ask it this way. When I started doing Welcome to the Neighborhood, the radio show, I did it in part because I really believe in be the change you want to see, right? And I remember when I was a creative, I remember when I was rapping, and I just wanted a platform. Somebody just give me a platform. And that's what I tried to do. Now, let me say, I'm not native to Portland. So I realized that there was, you mentioned 95.5, and I know that there were other platforms that were given local artists. Klyph Notes has done it with the Breakout Show. But for me coming in and not knowing that, when this opportunity presented itself, I said, I want to create something. And out of that obviously came Klyph Notes, the podcast, and some of the other things that I'm doing. So not to disparage what was done before me, but saying, hey, this is what I want to see, so let me go create it.
Right.
As you, as Casso, or as the format, are there things within the industry that you feel like, man, I really feel like I would love to see this. I feel like this is a missing piece of it, and I think that I have the heart for or the gift for to create that. Is there something that comes to mind?
Just trying to inspire, people that look like us, to get into that field, to be in like a leadership position when it comes to, to a design firm and all that stuff. So like, we don't want to just be like the only one. We want to see, other people with their own stuff, other people that look like us, that we can take that and really, I'm sure like there's plenty out there, but just, doing our part to bring more in, just like you with Klyph Notes and stuff. It's not like, I thought I was the only person. It's like just another lane, another, opportunity to put your music out there. Like if jamming 107.5 might not do it right now, okay, Klyph Notes, okay, this place, it just, being another piece that, people can, go to, just doing our part.
I love it. I love it. You know, as I tried to mention earlier, bro, a part of doing this is because, or maybe I didn't mention it here, but I've mentioned it so many times before. Klyph Notes really came out of Welcome to the Neighborhood being the platform where I'm playing people's music, but I would have conversations with individuals, and there's so much beauty in the individuals that I've had an opportunity to meet through the years, and I believe that it's valuable for the community, the listener, to get to know them, and that's what Klyph Notes has been the whole time. Like, get to know these creatives, get to know these human beings, get to know these community members.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I'm hoping that through this conversation, people get to know you a little bit more. Is there, and maybe there isn't. Maybe it's like you, like I'm good being in the background. I don't need nobody to know me, see me. You don't need to know nothing. But is there anything that you feel like, man, I just, this is something that would be cool if people knew about me?
I mean, like, even though I play the background, play the behind the scenes, I'm not like somebody that's like, you know, standoffish or anything. I might be, just know it's just my anxiety. You know, like if you meet me in person, I'll talk with you, have a conversation with you, you know, laugh with you, kick a joke with you, and all that stuff. You know, you know, once like the connection is made, I'm a people person.
Word up.
You know, like
Word
I don't,
up.
like you know, I'm for the people. You know, like I look out, you know, anywhere I can.
Yes, you do.
You know,
yes, you do.
I'm just not out there as much as I should be. Like, I'm not really like crazy on like social media as I should be, you know. So I can understand if I walk in a place and somebody does like it'll take somebody to it'll take for us to like meet and I'll say, hey, I'm Alex, I'm a graphic designer, such and such.
Yeah.
And we might exchange, you know, IG pages and stuff, and then they see the name and they see the work and like connected with it. Then they start going, oh, that's you, you, and all that stuff. So, you know, for the most part, I'm chilling. I'm chilling, you know. Like, like if you walk up to me, man, we'll have a conversation. Yeah. We can have a conversation. I'm not like I'm humble.
Yes,
humble.
you are.
Like
yes, you
humble.
Are, bro.
I'm super humble.
Yes, you are.
I'm shy, so but I'm humble and all that stuff. But you know, for the most part, you know, it's just dope meeting, you know, different creative people and all that stuff. Like I said, I'm like I try to walk up to people and be like, yo, I'm a fan of what you do and all that stuff, and then keep it moving.
Yeah, for sure.
You know.
Casso Dinero, bro. Alex, again, man, thank you so much for what you have done and continue to do for the creative scene. You know, I think people, similar to what you were talking about, when people look at the produce logo and they don't realize that it's you walking by them in the streets. I think that we can say that about so many things, musical venues that people go in, the flyers that they see that are up there, album art, many different logos, that there's a creative mind behind so much of what we see here in the Portland area. And with the revitalization that we're seeing of coming out of the pandemic, new ideas, new concepts, new opportunities, new venues. I'm really looking forward to seeing more of the work that you do.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. I want people to check out what you have. If people, if they're hearing this and they want to tap in and see some of the stuff that you're doing, how should people do that?
At Casso Dinero, one word, Twitter, IG, yeah, like those two. You can reach me at, and then all my information, my contact information is in my bio. But yeah, IG, that's where all the work is and all that. I'm gonna start uploading some new stuff soon. I got a lot to put up. I know. again, I be in my bubble sometimes, so I don't stop to look up and really just, you know, put myself out there like I should, but I'm starting to. I just got a few things to take care of project wise. You know, by the time they hear it, it'll probably be done.
There it is. Yep.
By the time they hear it, you know, some more work will be put up and all that stuff. But yeah. IG really Casso Dinero. One word. Yeah.
There it is. There it is. Man, listen, like I said, I've been so anxious to have this interview, in part because these interviews they're interesting to me because a lot of the backstories I don't know of people who I've known for many, many years. So thank you for telling the story.
Not a problem. I hope I wasn't like long with it.
Not at all, bro. No,
this is my first interview, man. So I might, you know, I don't know. I'll you know, this is new. Like I said, I'm behind the scenes. Like
yes, sir. But that's the other piece, though. That's the other piece, Alex. Is I feel very honored that that through that you trusted me enough to come through and share this time with me. Thank you very much, man. It means a lot to me.
Man, thank you for carving out time to you know, hear my story. You know, that stuff. You know, I'm sure I missed out a few things. Like I'm sure I missed some things and all that stuff. But forgive my heart, not my mind. Forgive my mind. You know.
Yep. Charge to the head, not the heart.
Yeah. Charge to the head, not the heart.
But look. But this is the dope part, bro. The cool thing about having a podcast is we just do a part 2. You feel me?
True.
Yes, sir.
Especially around the time when we can really announce what we're doing.
Yes.
And stuff. We can have the whole team here.
Yes. Anyway, so Casso Dinero, man, y'all check him out. Casso Dinero on IG, Casso Dinero on Twitter. And tap in with them. Be on the lookout for the design firm and the stuff that they've got coming. And if you're looking for talented people who do great work, man, definitely tap in with them, man.
Yeah.
Remember, the Klyph Notes podcast is available everywhere you listen to your podcast. So thank you so much for those who have subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, like, share, rate, review, do the whole 9, man. Let people know that we're out here and what we are doing. Thank you to X-Ray FM for hosting this episode, this recording of the Klyph Notes podcast. You can check me out on X-Ray FM every Saturday night at 8 p.m. with Welcome to the Neighborhood, the radio show. You can also check out the podcast at klyphnotes.com. And last but never ever least, big ups to the homie Theory Has It for creating the official theme song for the Klyph Notes podcast. All right, y'all. Until next time, y'all be blessed. Peace.